Welcome everyone to another podcast with Applied Stratigraphics. And our guest today is Alexandra Price. And the cool thing is that Alexandra and I have actually never met in person, but we've been in touch on LinkedIn for a while. And Alexandra is a business developer for CGG, and she is also working on a PhD on pegmatites. So how you doing, Alexandra?
I'm doing very well. Thank you for having me today. It's great to see you. And as you mentioned, we've never met, but I love geology because we span the world, don't we? And time and space almost, right?
I know, and it's been great interacting with you over the years. So I know pegmatites are a hot topic right now. So what exactly does your doctorate focus on?
Sure. Yeah, they're super interesting, right? I had a kind of a mentor get me into pegmatites, and now I'm totally obsessed, right? So I'm really focusing on hyperspectral imaging of pegmatites. It's really interesting field, and I think it can really shed some light on sort of tell us more about what these pegmatites are made out of. And I'm hoping to use SWIR veneer and what we call the WIR, so different parts of the electromagnetic spectrum, to identify these key minerals in the pegmatites, whether they're lithium bearing or rare earth bearing, and do some geochemical corroboration. So I've been collecting pegmatites from folks who are generously donating them or lending them to me. And I will start kind of the bulk of my research this year. And yeah, I've had this wonderful opportunity to work in industry. And so I've got some partners in the industry. One of them is TerraCore Laboratories. I'm hopefully going to work with Spectier. And so we're going to use some really awesome hyperspectral machines to maybe tell a little bit more about these pegmatites. And I attend the University of Houston. I'm a part-time student, as you mentioned. I work full-time. So it's my hands are full, but it's so fabulous and so much fun that I really don't mind at all. It's fantastic.
No, that's great. I saw your pictures from was PDAC last week or was that week before?
It was last week, yes.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it's phenomenal that folks are bringing you their pegmatite samples to use in your research. How many samples did you get up there?
I just had a bag delivered today. I received two at PDAC, so I've got about 6 pegmatite specimens, and they're perfect for the hyperspectral imaging, essentially. And I'm gathering more, and as you know, there's several families of pegmatites, so I'll sort of have to tailor the research and keep it into one family. So my first chapter, essentially, of my dissertation should be LCT pegmatites, or these lithium-bearing pegmatites, which are all along the North American craton. And as you know, lithium's a big topic right now.
It is a
So
big topic right now.
I figure, this is going to be a good place to learn and grow professionally and academically. And I would hope that this research helps propel my career and bolster the scientific knowledge. So I've got some great advisors, some great mentors. We all need mentorship, especially as scientists, no? So
Yeah.
I'm just very grateful, and I'm just loving every minute of it. Yes.
All right, so I have a really stupid question for you, Alexandra. Okay,
Good.
so if we if you when you're using this hyperspectral imaging, can you differentiate just by looking at whatever technology you're using? Is it possible to differentiate any old pegmatite that has absolutely nothing valuable in it from an LCT pegmatite?
Sure, we want to see that there's lithium in it, and we can use the long wave to be able to identify the lithium. So the long wave is really important if you're looking at lithium and pegmatites. And I know recently a lithium index came out. So yeah, we that's essentially the whole point, right? Being able to look down, just take an image and know where the lithium is spatially and potentially quantify it. Potentially, not,
Right.
we're looking at the surface. So that's where the geochemical corroboration should fit in really nicely, right? The LA ICP-MS should help us compare each of these and hopefully add to the scientific sort of knowledge in this space.
Excellent. Excellent. So again, I've got another stupid question
Those are not stupid
because
questions.
I'm not a pegmatite expert. So when you are using this imaging, is this airborne or is this satellite or how does that work?
That's a really good question. So traditionally, remote sensing is done from satellite. So when you attend, a class, you're going to learn about the satellites and their capabilities and their resolution. But I'm using hyperspectral imaging in the laboratory. My thoughts are if we can really nail this down in the laboratory, then we'll scale up. So SPECTIR, as I mentioned, these are airborne. So then you can fly a plane with a hyperspectral sensor and gather the data. So you know a lot about mineral exploration, right? So I'm thinking if we start in the laboratory, we scale up, eventually we could use the satellites. But as you know, pegmatites are quite thin, they're hard to see, they're
Yeah.
often covered with vegetation. So there are some complexities that need to be worked through. But yeah, it's really interesting, and I think it should be a great topic for a PhD student.
No, I think it's a phenomenal topic for a PhD. I think that's I'm glad someone's working on that.
Thank you. Yeah, I've been very lucky. But
So
the quote says, "Luck is when preparation meets opportunity." So that's for all the students out there.
yeah, yeah, that is true. That is true. So I know you're also a mom. How do you balance this? You've got a full-time job and you're doing a PhD and you're a mom. So how are you balancing all of this?
One day at a time. I think we talked about this. This is definitely a message for all the parents and the mothers out there, mothers, fathers, right? We all give into our children and take care of them. I don't really know how I balance it. I think people ask me that all the time, but I just stay very focused on what I'm doing. There's a lot of multitasking, and you work when your children are napping, you're working on your dissertation and your research and reading books, and then when your children wake up from the nap, you pour yourself into them, because I had a very wise professor once who told me, if you fail your children, you fail everything. Oh my goodness. So I took
No,
that
I
to
agree
heart.
there.
And I really, try to teach my children, invest in them, and spend time with them. It's hard to say how one juggles it. I think you just put your nose to the grindstone, you keep your eye on the prize, and you hope that there's good people who see and how hard you want to work. And that's really what's happened to me. People see that I'm very excited, invested, and so it's just sort of paid off. And it's little by little, right? You don't set crazy, yeah, I'd like to graduate by 2026, but if I don't, I don't, right? I'm just going to keep moving. You don't give up. And I think I hope it's a good message to those moms out there that you can do a lot of things. You don't have to sacrifice. I think in this day, sometimes you feel like you can't have both. And I believe that you can, and you should if you can. If you can manage it, take care of your body and your mental health, and by all means, you can have the world if you want it.
Excellent. Well, no, that's a very powerful message, Alexandra. I appreciate you sharing that. Tell me a little bit about your new role because I know you just started. I saw the announcement on LinkedIn not too long ago.
Sure. So I work for this amazing company, CGG. We're actually a French company. Our headquarters are in Paris. So CGG, traditionally, a lot of folks may know them from the oil and gas industry, heavy in seismic acquisition and processing. But I am a business developer in sort of a new product line. It's in earth data, mining, and minerals. What I do as a business developer, very technical, is we want to build multidisciplinary data sets that geoscientists, explorers, prospectors can use. So this would include, the geology, the geocron, the geochem, everything geology, and then the geophysics side, so the gravity, magnetics, radiometrics. And then we like to tie that in with all of the different data sets that we can find, whether it's boreholes or water wells or wireline logs. We digitize everything, we quality control everything, we bring it all together in one space. So when somebody's exploring in a region, they have all the pieces of data that they need to find the deposits that they're interested in. Very cool stuff. I'm just enjoying the mining and mineral side a lot. And yeah, it's absolutely fantastic. If you have more questions about it, I'd be happy to answer them.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Alexandra. I appreciate your time, and I appreciate you talking to us. We're honored to have you join us today. But folks, if you're interested in learning more about Alexandra, she is on LinkedIn. She's super friendly. You could just always send her a message, and I'm sure she'll be very happy to talk to you about her research. And thank you again, Alexandra, for your time. And
Thank you.
we'll stay in touch. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure and an honor. And yes, please reach out to me. I'm happy to mentor or give advice and put more goodness in the world. I've received a lot, so I'm happy to give back everything that I can.
Yeah, and if you've got a cool pegmatite, you know who to send it to.
That's right. Send all your pegmatites.
Exactly. All right, Alexandra, you take care.
Thank you so much. We'll see you soon. Take care.
All right, bye.